Welcome to your magic moon message, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the moon in Virgo, the moon in Sagittarius, sun in Virgo transit. We have begun to integrate this gloriousness. Okay. We've begun to integrate this next, of course, venture into the opposite side of the eclipse through the south node, and all protocol is ready for. I want you to look at this moon in Sag kind of as like a rocket blaster or launch off in a way. Traditionally you wouldn't have to see it like that, but in the sense where like from the new moon until now, it's like when you get on a roller coaster, you don't really necessarily just start the ride, because a lot of people would die and they would get sued. But there has to be like the intro check, and people have to make sure they're buckled in, and then there's that just kind of like start period, and then the dread begins. And I think this moon in Sagittarius might kind of be just that dread you were looking for. I mean, it doesn't have to be dread and fear and terrifying wildfires, but you will begin to see the meaning of these new behaviors and habits that you have activated. These initial habits that you have kind of offered as far as committing to do, to make up your routine, to make up the next couple of weeks for you before you break this through. And for those of you with your supernatural techniques or actual practical techniques or any type of techniques combining a myriad of abilities that now constitute your own unique style, right? You're going to start to see its efficacy and its actual meaning in your life through others, with others, because now this moon in Sagittarius, mutable to mutable, affecting change, wants us to adjust our perspective. It wants us to adjust our habits to be at home with the vision of how we see we can really take our new habits and new life, of course, to a more collective, universal understanding of how this shapes your philosophy, right? And this is where, for those of you who've been experimenting with new ideas, new habits, you're going to see these seeds break through the ground. And that's why I'm very excited. The moon will go into Capricorn, where now that we've stabilized this vision with how we're perfecting our routine, you're going to understand how to control this and fully express it, how to step fully into this routine. And that vision is needed to see now that this new integration of your mindsets and these new patterns that you're developing, you're starting to see evidence of its effect. The best way I could put this, I should have used this earlier. This is like literally if during the new moon last week you started doing sit-ups, right? Or you started doing pull-ups, or you started doing chin-ups, right? You started to do some exercise. And now that we're a week in, it's not like you've completely transformed your body, and it's not like you're a master at the exercise, but you're already seeing a bit of weight loss. You're already seeing extra strength, whereas you could probably only do like 10 push-ups before. Now you can knock out 30, right? You're gonna be adjusting your routine now relative to how you're beginning to see development of it. So now I have to adjust my routine. I can't just do 10 push-ups anymore, because I could hit 30 and not be tired. So that's this adjustment we're gonna see. And then of course the moon's gonna go into Aquarius. You're gonna come into an advanced knowledge of how we're tying in together these new complex, supernaturally advanced lifestyle mechanisms and behavioral patterns. Now somehow everything that I'm saying ties in to sleeper cell agents and vessels who are possessed by dark forces and false narratives, meant to give you the impression that you're separate from everything and the divine around you, even though it's like a Truman Show-esque play. But that just sounds crazy and delusional. And before I let that channel out the way, we can bring that back into Pisces season. I want to kind of ground more how your commitment to these patterns most of which shouldn't make sense. So you don't want to be suppressing certain ideas that, have come to you, right? You're inspired with, but it feels weird to other people, right? It feels like, oh, this is kind of, you can almost sense projection from the unconscious of others judging you. That's Pluto in Aquarius. Or like really trying to like condition you away from that. But it did not come to them as an idea. It came to you as an idea. This is that Uranus in Gemini square to Virgo that is going to promote your unique unconventionality of thought, which is disruptive by nature. It's not cuddly. It's not accommodating. It's not sensitive. It's disruptive. It's saying, yeah, I'm fucking in this building. And they're like, dude, you're not allowed to curse here. There's children. Fuck yeah. And tell those kids I said they should have a fucking awesome day. Like, it's not supposed to be right or wrong. It's disruptive. It could be disruptive for the worst. It could be disruptive for the best. It's really how you play with this disruptive energy. I used a very extreme example here. But, that's, I think, a good example because of the dynamics. Just one individual mindset and attitude is now being integrated in Virgo through these day-to-day spaces. Virgo is the laundromat you go to every Saturday. It's the office you go through every other day to get paid. It's your habits, your routine. And now we're taking this next level supernatural revelation of us and incorporating that, which you will find will begin to change your entire lifestyle as we come into this eclipse. So yeah, we're here. We planted seeds. Those seeds are now breaking through the ground throughout the rest of the week. And the moon opposition to Uranus in Gemini is pivotal because every 28 days we'll conjunct Uranus in Gemini, and we're going to activate an updated understanding of how much more innovative we can communicate our thoughts. Every 2 weeks from that conjunction to Moon in Sagittarius, you're coming into a higher ascended perspective of what you are showing others these radical ideas mean. And Sagittarius is chaos magic. So that's where with Pluto Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, a lot of how the previous decade had you really relearn a lot of these fundamental principles from scratch or in a new way. Now you're hyper accelerating the way with which you can literally just point at a random billboard and it's going to say exactly what's on your mind. It's almost like you're interfacing with this reality, quantum superimposing your will and your higher self through you, like you're in some kind of simulation and you're breaking more into the awakening that there is an actual sense of yourself that exists outside of this reality, interfacing and, dare I say, controlling and playing you like you're its avatar. Damn, I know I sound crazy right now. And how can you integrate this crazy into your day-to-day without, of course, actually, no limits, whether with or without. Just now you're going to be seeing the higher meaning of where this is getting ready to break through into. Anyway, I wanted to get that math out the way, just the angles, the 90 degree of the moon to the sun. Of course, Jupiter still in Cancer. Mercury is going to begin to catch up to the sun in Virgo. These personal planets so far with Mars and Libra are just still socially interfacing the individuality we've activated through these transits. However, of course, Saturn getting ready to retrograde in Pisces is revisiting this testing of our belief systems so that as you are forming the integration of these supernatural behavioral patterns and habits, these habits match and align the belief systems you have committed to aligning to. So you are practicing what you preach, and now you are creating the lifestyle that represents the supernatural quality of being, reminding you that, we are not separate and we are innovating real time the rules of how we interface with this matrix. Even finding the words, right? Even the innovation of language itself It's like you're learning a new language, which is rewiring your brain throughout the rest of this decade. So what will be a struggle to put into words will be so much simpler without even having to speak words moving forward. Anyway, now that I got that out the way, this is where it's already real, but we about to swing low, sweet cherry. I just wanted to say that. We're about to swing around, though. That's really what I was going to say. I wanted to say swing low, sweet cherry. We're about to swing around here. The lever is switching, all right? Especially with the trine of Saturn, the opposition to Uranus, the sextile to Pluto. Guys, we're here. Like, this is about to, we've activated this social cycle, but we're taking it into the realm of the gods. So there's going to be higher levels of synchronization in this formation of your habits that you may not necessarily be used to, and you just want to see it as excess energy or perspective that you've never really tapped in, that's coming online through being triggered by either stuff external to you or from within you. This is where everything you've established you want to commit to, now you want to even be more disciplined and you want to stick to every day. It's actually okay if you weren't as consistent the first week, because all you had to do the first week was to just plant the seeds, and that could have been done by a flawless daily commitment. But if you really just established what the commitment is, it's actually okay if you just kind of went to it, left it. Now is where you want to commit to it for real. We're going to go through the Virgo signature. You want to take what you've planted and established, and really now visualize how it is, you're coming into fully living this routine, fully mastering your exercises or techniques that you're putting into. And for those of you who are activating techniques, once again, you're going to be ascending its capability and its meaning before you fully express its creative mastery through Capricorn, and then we harvest it through Pisces and yada yada yada. So yeah, I think this is where things are going to start to get fun. The moon in Sagittarius just wants to ask you, how do you see this playing out, right? Like, there's the new habits you're developing, but like, now as far as your lifestyle, how is it that you want this life of your dreams for some of you to be? Because of the opposition to Neptune and Pisces and Saturn and Pisces, it's tying in everything we could ever believe is possible and dream is possible for us to live and actually break through. Spend this rest of the moon in Sagittarius being guided to understand just how much more amazing your lifestyle can be, okay? And because you have evolved, your tastes are evolving too. So it's going to show you more that maybe you weren't entirely, maybe you always knew, maybe you didn't, but just really hold no bars, hold no limits, really sit over today and tomorrow and let the moon in Sagittarius show you how much doper you're getting ready to have this through you because of your own actions, all right, because of your own perspective. And all you got to do is just keep committing to what you're committing to. That consistency will really do the rest for you. All right. Anyway, I still have my 50% off sale for, of course, my website, thepeacedealer.com, consultations, and of course, recorded reports. You can subscribe to my app or join my app, Supernatural, link in the description box below. Or if you're on Instagram, the links are on the page right there. You can shoot me a call on Hipsy if you want one-on-one conversations over the phone, but you can also get those consultations on the website too. You guys stay blessed as always. Look at Prince looking at you guys. Prince says hi. Yep. Anyway, yeah, this is already a very magical season. The frequency of you tapping in to the true style, the real lifestyle, right? The habits and patterns that reflect who you truly are is opening a vortex through the South Node that is aligning you with all the relevant characters and people who you are meant to really form powerful connections with as we create this new world. So you don't have to really look for these people. You don't have to find these people. You don't have to do anything really crazy as far as to just commit to what life you're meant to live and to commit to the routine and the consistency and make it fun if it's boring to you. But you're about to see this pick up today and it's about to be so much more fun. So Peace.